All right, so this is Anthony Smith. I'm doing video number 5 in a series of interviews with SWCC operators. This one is titled Testimony of Senior Chief SWCC Troy Norrell. And like I said, this is interview number 5, and we're talking about SWCC traumatic brain injury and orthopedic injuries. This interview is a testimonial of Troy's medical records, VA ratings, and DD-214. All of these things were shared to me by Sue Norrell, Troy's mother. Sue gave me permission to produce this presentation and share it openly. Troy passed away on October 1st, 2021. He was 44 years old. Many of you already know this. His service distinctions included a Bronze Star, Navy Commendation Medals, 2 Achievement Medals with Valor, 3 Combat Action Ribbons, and a Presidential Unit Citation, among other awards. Senior Chief SWCC Troy Norrell was in the United States Navy for 12 years. He spent all of that as a SWCC operator. He went to SWCC school and graduated in 2005. He did 4 SWCC deployments overseas. 3 were to Iraq and 1 was to Afghanistan. He served at Special Boat Team 22. He worked on the SOCRs. He has an estimated 12,000 hours of SWCC boat time. It's kind of hard to estimate and figure these things out. He's passed away. I have an estimated 1.5 million wave pounding whiplash related impacts causing possible traumatic brain injury or microconcussions. All right, for those of you that don't know, Navy SWCC is a special class of elite naval warriors who have been a decisive force behind some of America's most important secret missions. Special boat operations have unique and often deadly challenges due to the combination of operating powerful, sophisticated machines designed for speed and stealth in some of the planet's most inhospitable environments. The average career SWCC operator experiences mTBI and major orthopedic injuries over the course of their career. In peacetime and wartime, Naval Special Warfare conducts missions in over 70 countries, 365 days a year. The sum of SWCC injury does not accumulate until the operator retires. Okay, so before we move ahead and talk about Troy, we just need to mention operator syndrome and a nexus of different injuries and symptoms associated with Special Operations Forces. Dr. Christopher Frew came up with the term operator syndrome. There's a DOI link there, so you can get it off the internet if you need to read it. Operator syndrome is a nexus of psychiatric illnesses and disorders along with chronic major orthopedic injuries. Every Special Operations Force individual from all the major branches eventually ends up with operator syndrome. More specifically, we're talking about Navy SWCCs, and they are classified as part of this group of individuals. From viewing Troy's records, these are the symptoms pertaining to operator syndrome that Troy had. He had traumatic brain injury diagnosed by NICO and by the VA. He had rating for it as well. He had endocrine dysfunction, severe sleep disturbance. He had chronic joint pain, back pain, orthopedic problems, headaches, substance abuse, depression, and suicide. He had post-traumatic stress disorder, anger, word rumination, and stress reactivity, some community dysfunction, being on guard, being hypervigilant, a lot of memory, concentration, and cognitive impairments, vestibular and vision impairments, challenges to transition in military life. All right. Okay, before Troy joined the military, he was a semi-pro baseball player, and then he joined the military. Some of the things that happened to him, the core morbidities due to SWCC operations are the following. He had a diagnosis of TBI. He went to NICO and the VA. Diagnosis of PTSD from NICO and the VA. He had anxiety, depression, chronic sleep impairment, endocrine dysfunction, he had headaches, he had migraines, hypervigilant, severe memory loss, concentration, decision-making issues, gross impairment of thought process, impaired judgment, alcohol disorder, and suicide and delusional. Traumatic brain injury for Senior Chief SWCC Troy Norrell. He was medically retired. The average SWCC operator logs 3,000 hours of boat time per deployment cycle. It's kind of well established. Roche did a 94 study. This research conducted underway studies on NSW fast boats for 6 days over a period of 36 hours, which totaled measured 8,610 wave impacts ranging from 2 to 25 Gs. Of these 8,610 wave impacts, 4,496 impacts ranged above 5 Gs. 5 to 15 Gs was the range. Some went up to 25 Gs. These 4,496 5G or greater impacts in 36 hours equals about 124 significant whiplash events in an hour. The average SWCC operator could endure 124 whiplash events in 1 hour operating on fast boats. Significant. The average SWCC operator possibly endures 374,000 plus significant G-force impacts from wave pounding on SWCC boats in one deployment cycle. That's a very large number. If you take that number, Troy did 4 deployments, and you take that number and deploy it by 4, then you come up with 1,498,000 plus significant full body impacts while wave slamming on SWCC fast boats, causing disastrous long-term effects of chronic orthopedic injury, whiplash, and other TBI related issues. All right, so the summary of Troy's operator syndrome symptoms. Etologically speaking, Troy was a 44-year-old medically retired SWCC operator as of 2021 with 12 years of SWCC boat service, 4 plus SWCC deployment cycles, including 12,000 hours of SWCC boat time, causing over 1.5 million significant full body impacts while weight pounding on SWCC boats. Troy had over 12 plus symptoms of mTBI and a nexus of operator syndrome symptoms. He endured whiplash, wave pounding at significant G-forces, urinated blood, and experienced blackouts from full body wave pounding exposure. Troy was diagnosed with TBI, PTSD symptoms, which impeded his quality of life. Long-term effects of mTBI and major orthopedic injuries are debilitating for SWCC operators like Troy. Troy had a 100% disability rating after several claims appeals when he passed in 2021. Dr. Pearl and Premier back in 2022 conducted an autopsy and did a report on it and on Troy's brain, and they concluded unique exposure from his SWCC career provided sufficient TBI for CTE development. Basically, they found CTE or encephalopathy in Troy's brain. So he was a baseball player. Before he joined the military, baseball players don't have a prevalence for a lot of head injury like you would in contact sports like football and boxing and stuff. So they really couldn't attribute his TBI symptoms to sports. They had to attribute it solely to what he did in the military, which was SWCC fast boats. So conclusions from this ongoing project. After 5 interviews and record reviews thus far, 100% of SWCC operators interviewed or record reviewed have traumatic brain injury. 100% of SWCC operators interviewed or record review experienced full body wave pounding, whiplash, and orthopedic injury from SWCC boat operations. Also, 100% of SWCC operators still lack VA ratings from service-connected injuries. Significantly, 1 SWCC operator committed suicide. Also significantly, 2 SWCC operators have diagnosed dementia. So this is at the infant stages of these interviews, and as I progress forward, so far it's devastating to see the results. So there are at least 1,000 guys out there that we could do this with, and I'm 100% sure 99% of them are going to be similar and same results. Thank you.